What's up, family? This is not usual, I usually do music and talk hoops and stuff on my channel. As of late, it's just been music, but I have a story that just came across my timeline on Facebook, and I mean, disturbing isn't even the type of word I should be using for this. It should be more like disgust or urgency or call of action. I'm gonna play the video. What's up? Yeah, I'm just doing a short editorial, so it's really not music. It's just on some news that I just got. But thanks for coming in. I'm gonna play this video, and I want y'all to listen to what's going on right now, and then I'm gonna speak on it.
Identity is protected, so the family of an 8-year-old who was allegedly lynched by white teenagers have released images of the 8-year-old. Now, his identity is protected, so we are not going to share his identity, but we are going to show you the photo of the injuries that he sustained as a result of these teenagers putting a noose around his neck and pushing him off a table. It is a graphic image. I want to warn you guys before I show you. Let's take a quick look.
Okay, he survived. They hung him, but he didn't die.
He didn't die, yes. Luckily, he survived, but he had to be airlifted to a hospital to undergo an immediate emergency procedure to ensure that he wouldn't die. Now, according to the victim's grandmother, he was playing with a group of children and teens when they began to taunt him with racist epithets and throw sticks and rocks at him. Now, I want to note that there were no adults present. We have no adult witnesses. We just have the account of this 8-year-old. Someone stood on a picnic table, and the group wrapped a rope around a nearby tire swing around the boy's throat, then kicked him off the table. The victim swung back and forth 3 times before he was able to free himself. None of the teens came to his aid. So, I mean, I don't know what to say. This is a freaking devastating story. And then, we have a statement from the police chief, which
makes it way worse.
Yeah.
Okay. I read that.
Okay, before I finish, wow, I'm speechless. I really don't know what. There's really no words, to be honest. There's nothing comforting to say about this situation, and I've listened to the whole interview. I listened to the whole story, and I'm gonna play the rest of it. But I mean, listen, here's the funny thing about it. Stuff like this has been going on consistently, but because the political climate has changed, and now you have more non-black people that is pissed off with the way politics are going, this stuff is getting reported more now. That and technology, those two things combined is the reason why we're getting more and more of these stories being put out on the mainstream. But let's make no mistake, this is not new. It's not a situation like, oh, now Trump is in office, so this is happening. This was happening during Obama, Bush, Reagan, Clinton. It's been happening, and it has never stopped happening. And it's a damn shame that people don't know this. And because media and other tools of expression has not actually been sympathetic or even really aware or care enough about to talk about how this thing has been continuing going on, and this is nothing new. This shit becomes shocking to us now. And it's not shocking. It's not. This shit is not new. Blacks getting killed by the police is not new. Okay? It's not. It's just being more publicized now. And it's a damn shame that I'm gonna hold off. I want y'all to hear the rest of this.
The headline of this story, and I thought, well, look, wait a minute. Now, his injury looks terrible, but we need more context here. Was it friends and they were goofing around? I remember there was a rope near a lake by our house, and who knows, maybe goofing around, you get caught in the wrong way, right? Are they friends? Are they not friends? And then how do the authorities react? Do they take it seriously? Do they not take it seriously? We'll get to that in a second. And when you hear the details, no, it's worse than I imagined. So, look, kids have complicated relationships. I remember I used to get into fights with some older kids in the neighborhood, and then we'd coexist. We'd be on the bus, and even sometimes might have not a friendly relationship.
I'm sorry for interrupting you, okay? No. I don't care what excuse anyone makes, and I know you're not trying to make an excuse. I know I just interrupted you in the middle of your thought, but I just have to get this out. These are teenagers, 14 and older. We don't know their identities because they're minors, and the police do not release the identities of minors who are involved in an alleged crime. But a teenager knows that you don't put a noose around anyone's neck and then push them off the table, okay? That is attempted murder. That is not what you do. And they didn't come to his aid. He could have easily died. They were throwing racial epithets in his direction, in his way, prior to putting that noose around his neck. They know what a noose means. They know what that rope meant. I'm not making any excuses for them. I'm not buying into anyone's excuses for them. This is an 8-year-old biracial child, okay?
Okay, so let me go to the police chief.
Now I'm gonna stop one more time. What she said is absolutely 100% correct. Listen, we all know that it's an unfair system. And if you don't know that, then you really should educate yourself. Especially if you're black. If you're non-black, I get it. There's no reason for you to educate yourself on that. You know, you don't have any reason to care or want to know about that. So, that's fine. But if you're a black person and you don't understand and you have not taken the time out to educate yourself on how this system has been running and is continuing to run this way, then shame on you. Shame on you. It's your fault. And if you haven't educated your kids on that, shame on you. It is your fault. Any black person that have not educated themselves on the history of justice or injustice against our people since we got here, and you haven't educated yourself or your children on that, shame on you. It is not the system responsibility to do that. It is your responsibility because they're not going to do that. Now, and then, I mean, it's like, wow. When you hear stuff like this, it's so shocking to some people. It's so, whoa, is this the climate we live in now? No. It's the climate we've been in. Understand this. This is not new. This shit has continuing to be going on. It has always went on. It's just now you have other people who are more sensitive to what's going on politically for whatever agenda they got, and now things like this is being put to the forefront because it supports their own agenda. They don't give a fuck. Let me get this straight. Ain't no Ain't no Democrat give a fuck about racial injustice. Straight up. They don't. They never have, they never will. No Republican. They don't give a damn about racial injustice because it has went on since we been here. When you create a police force to go and get runaway slaves, and now this is the same police force that we live under now, understand that is the purpose for them being created. Do you guys think the police were just created like on some fucking Wild Wild West Jesse James shit? No. You had a task force created to go and get runaway slaves. That has in turn become what we know now as our police force. Now, well, you can disagree, but it's history to support it. So you gotta understand history. When you do that, then we make statements. I'm not gonna make a comment on something I don't know about, because I can't have a fair opinion unless I know about it. But that is a fact. There were task force created before regular police departments that were created just for that. Go look it up. It's very easy. You have Google, you can do it if you choose to. Now, the simple fact now that people are more sensitive and, you know, they want to pay extra attention to these type of racial things now, it does two things. One, well, that's your opinion, but like I said, there's history and there's facts to support that. You know, and depending on what background you're from, you're going to have a different opinion. And that's fine. But it's just not factual. So, that's fine. And like I said, when I just heard this story, and I'm like, wow. Usually on my channel, yeah, it's no hype news because I'm not going to pull no punches. I'm going to tell you guys straight. But usually I do music and I talk about sports on here. But this is something that had to be talked about. And I don't mind having a educated conversation on it. I don't mind hearing a person's opinion when it's based off of something. Now, if we're going to base our opinion based without even going getting any information, then that's how people have arguments that lead to no solution. But when we all gather the information and we all want to admit the truth, then we can start having solutions. But as long as you got people saying, hey, I don't agree that this system is built like that and shit like that, when it's a history of it, when you got people saying, I don't think they arrest people based off of race, when there's a history of it, then of course you're never going to have a good dialogue that's going to get a solution. Because one, it tells me you have not educated yourself on that. Straight up. As soon as somebody make a comment saying that they don't think they arrest people based off of race, when there's clearly been cases of racial profiling, where there's clearly been factual evidence throughout history of people being not only murdered by the police in lynch mobs based off race only and arrested by that. It's a history of it. It's factual. This is not an opinion. So, like I said, if I don't mind you stating an opinion, but have it based on something. Go look that up. Before that, and that's why we don't have anything that comes to solutions. Because we don't have people that actually want to go do the work to understand. You want people in denial, and you want, and here's what, and here's the real thing. You want people not to admit it because it doesn't become real to them. And as long as it's not real to them, they don't have to do nothing about it. They don't feel nothing morally wrong about it because it's not real to them. But guess what? It'll knock on your door eventually. It will. The truth will come to you eventually. It's just now you're going to be more ill prepared for it. And like I said, if you're a black person, it's up to you to educate your kids on this stuff. They're not going to tell you real history. Do you know in history books now they start talking about the transatlantic migration? Now, what the fuck are you talking about? It's the slave trade. Wait, it's not no migration. It's not people we willingly came over like that. That's dumb shit. They're putting that in books now. Why? So certain people can feel comfortable about themselves. So certain people don't have to admit that there is a disbalance in this system. That's what that shit is about. But what you're gonna find out is after it hits racism, then it goes to classism. And guess what? If you ain't in a certain class, you're gonna get treated a certain way also. See, this shit has tiers to it. And you better know that. So you could be non-black, not give a damn about black issues, not give a damn about racism all you want. But then you're going to be affected by classism. Then you're going to start wanting to become political. When it affects you. The problem is you don't understand the shit that's happening to someone lower than you or someone that you don't know about or something that you're not sensitive to. It's just a prelude to something that's going to happen to you sooner or later. This is why you got to understand that. It's like I tell people, like, I don't get it. I don't understand how can you vote for someone that clearly don't have nothing to do with what your lifestyle has ever been about. I told that about black people with Obama. I'm like, do you think he has experienced America as a black person? No, he hasn't. So he don't give a damn about none of the issues we have. And he didn't. He absolutely didn't. And he did no policy to change that. And black people let Obama off the hook. That's facts. You know, and it's ignorance. But now you want to ask Trump questions about the Black Caucus. Guess what? Obama didn't meet with the Black Caucus, I think, till in his second term at the end. And he still didn't do nothing. Okay, so trust me. For me personally, I don't care who's in office. It could be Obama, it could be Trump, and I don't give a fuck who's in office. Because I understand the laws of the land, period. And what y'all better understand is that, okay, you may be white, and you think that Trump gives a damn about that. He don't give a damn about that. Because now he's dealing with a different class. And guess what? If you ain't on that class, he don't give a damn about you. And you better understand that. Seriously. It's always been about halves and half-nots, regardless of race. It's always been about halves and half-nots. And you better figure that shit out. Period. You better figure that out. And like I said, anything I say is stuff I've actually read and looked up. I'm not finna give you guys just an opinion that's baseless. If I do say something that's just an opinion that's baseless, I'm gonna say it before that. I'm gonna let you know, like, hey, I haven't checked this out, but this is just what I possibly think is going on. But when I sit here and tell you that a police task force was created to get runaway slaves, and you don't know that, don't think that's not true just because you don't know that. Go look it up, and then you'll understand that's how it got started. Then you started getting other police forces put into play. What you think this shit started off? First it was the badge? Is that what you think? Because if that's what you think, you need to go read some books and stop listening to this bullshit. But what you better understand is, yeah, okay, you think you're safe, you're non-black. Cool. You think that's good. But then classism is going to hit you. And that's when you're going to have a rude awakening, when you realize, oh shit, I thought I was alright. No, you're not alright either. You're not alright. And here's a question that I really wanted to ask people. Since when was it a good thing for a billionaire who's never worked a fucking day in their life, who didn't earn the shit that they got, become a person that you wanted to hear say, you need a job? When has that shit ever sound good to you? I have never ever in my life thought it feel good for a motherfucker that never had to work to tell me I need to go work. That's stupid. But then you got people voting for it. I watched people vote for this dude. He didn't put out any financial plan at all. He didn't have his tax plan out at all. The social programs that he's cutting, it hurts you more than anyone else. All of these things that people say, yo, this is how I vote for somebody, he didn't give you no answers on that, and people still voted. So you tell me why you voted. I don't know. Because it ain't off no real policies, because guess what? He didn't give you any policy, and guess what? He's been in office for like 8-9 months now, and he still haven't given you any policy. Just more bullshit and bullshit and bullshit. But now look at the climate. I'm gonna finish the video so you guys can check it out, because this is where it's all coming from. So it's all coming from pretty much this story right here. This is why I made this video real quick. Check it out.
Quote on it, and then I'll finish my thought. Mark Chase, Claremont Police Chief, said, "These people need to be protected. Not the kid who was hung. He's referring to the kids who hung him. He said, mistakes they make as a young child should not have to follow them for the rest of their life." Okay, so now, I set all that up in terms of how it could have gone, but it didn't go that way. This case is absolutely clear. Anna's right. So, look, we don't need to make it personal, and in order for you to empathize, but I'm going to because it affects me. I have a 7-year-old biracial son. Now, he happens to be half Chinese, but, the Steve Bannons of the world don't like Chinese people either. Furthermore, it's much worse than that. This is in New Hampshire. I've got a godson who's black, who lives in New Hampshire, who's right around this age. Some 14-year-olds who don't know him hang him from a tree and don't help him? Goddamn right, that's attempted murder. Look, if we don't have justice in this country, it's going to get to a really bad place where vigilante justice begins.
We don't have justice in this country.
And we don't want that.
We don't have justice. That's what she's right. We don't. We don't. I remember a case, it was in around 1997-98 in Las Vegas, where it was a skinhead movement. For some reason, this black dude wanted to be associated with it. Do you know what they did to that dude? They tied him to a car and drug him until his body parts came off. you guys think I'm making that shit up, go look it up. It's crazy. It's crazy. And the only reason why this shit still persists this way is because they do not want to make non-black people feel uncomfortable. Because if they did, they would really educate and really tell you what was going on. For instance, there has been statements made by black people saying, we need to have black-owned businesses. We need to control our money. We need to filter it in and build our communities, right? As if black people didn't do that. But if you know about Black Wall Street, and then you know that the United States, that is the only time they actually use missiles and bombs on their own country was to destroy Black Wall Street. They don't want you to have your own shit. Why? Why? Ask yourself that question. Go look up who's the number one consumer. Go look it up. When you do that, then you'll understand why they wouldn't want that to happen. People got to start educating themselves. And I'm not trying to tell you go look at some militant black book. I'm not telling you go look up the Panthers or no shit like that. Go look up your actual history. That's what I'm telling you. You ain't got to go look at some book that's sensitive to a particular race. Just look at your history. And then you can see the truth. But if you're not willing to do that, then just say, I don't give a fuck. And that's fine. You don't have to. But it's going to come knocking on your door. Because what people got to understand is racism, then it's going to be classism. And you're already experiencing that. And that's a whole nother level that a lot of people ain't ready for that shit. When you start talking about depopulation and shit like that, you think it's blacks? No, it's not black people they're talking about. You think black people are the ones they call useless eaters? No, it's not. It's people on another economic level. It's classism also. That's where you fit in. See, they don't discuss that a lot. So you think it's okay. So some people are like, yeah, fuck them. But they saying fuck you too. And you don't even know it. You don't even know it. That's ignorance. And it's willful ignorance. Why? Because you won't even educate yourself on it. Why? Because you don't think that shit is real to you. Let's finish up this clip.
Don't want that under any circumstance. But you start hanging our kids, and then the cop says, we gotta protect the kids who did the hanging? Are you insane? Are you insane? Now look, if you say, hey look man, come on, have some empathy for the 14-year-olds don't know what they're doing, and they're minors, and that's why we have the rules about minors don't get tried as adults. Then under no circumstances should another black kid in America ever be tried as an adult. We can't have two different systems of justice where you say, no, if it's a black kid, it's a super predator. Let's go throw the book at him. I don't care if he's 14 or 13 or 12. Let's try him as an adult and let's put him in prison forever. But if it's a young white kid in the middle of New Hampshire and three of them hang a black kid and then leave him to die. And then leave him to die. And then I go, oh, poor innocent little mistake. No, people make mistakes when they're 14. Not like that. And you say, under no circumstances am I going to try white kids as adults. Well, then don't try anybody as adults if they're under 18. But you got to have the same thing. If you don't stop prosecuting as an adult if they're under 18.
The family of an 8.
And that's pretty much the end of the clip. So you had an 8-year-old who was pretty much attacked by some teenagers, and he's biracial. He was black and whatever else, I don't know, because they don't state. And they hung him. They hung him, tried to kill him, he didn't die. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. My whole point is, that shit ain't new. And shame on you if you think it is new. Because it's not. You know, this is what I tell people, like this past election, right? You start got I'd rather somebody be truthful with me than lie to me, you know. And like when we had segregation in the 60s, and somebody clearly said, we don't want to serve you here, right? I'd rather them let me know that than not and do something to my food. I'd rather them say that. Now, I'm not saying I'd rather us have a society that's like that, because we shouldn't have to. But the reality is, when we made laws against it, it didn't go away. It just got hidden. It's just like the unemployment rate. Let's take that for example. When people's like, oh, well, the unemployment rate went down, and they equate that to thinking that people actually started working again. Well, that's not the case, because you know how they do that. They go by how many unemployment cases was filed that week. Guess what? There's a time limit to get unemployment. So when you cannot file, that don't mean you didn't get a job anymore. That just means you can't file for unemployment anymore. And that don't really mean that the unemployment rate went down based off of jobs that have now been obtained. You see what I'm saying? We gotta be able to be thinkers, not just people that just taking in all this nonsense after nonsense after nonsense, and then just passing that shit on to kids and your friends or whoever the fuck you deal with. We got to be able to know information, how to take it in and how to break it down, and how to really understand that shit so you can live normal, as normal as possible. Somebody says, hey, can I give you advice? Yes, please, give me advice. That's why I said yes. I don't have a problem with advice. You know, I don't have a problem with that. I can learn from everybody. We can all learn from different people and from everybody. But something like this happening is crazy. It's crazy. And it's not new. That's the sad part. And that's why I wanted to make this video, to let people know this shit ain't new. For instance, for those who are still listening, for the young lady who says she don't believe that they arrest people on race. Let's take cocaine, right? First you had cocaine, powder form, in the 70s. Big drug, celebrities did it, it was okay. In the 80s, they turned it to crack. Then, who was smoking crack? Well, more poor people were smoking crack. So you know what they did? They created different laws. So a little piece of crack can get you years in prison, whether you are a user or a seller. But you can fucking be Tony Montana and dump your whole face in coke and be alright. You guys understand that shit? That's not something I'm making up. That's facts. Listen, you think I'm playing? Oliver North. Go look up Oliver North. Go look up the trial. Go look up the Contras. They purposely flooded black neighborhoods with cocaine and crack. Purposely. This is not something that's made up. You can go look up Oliver North, look up the Contra trials, go do it. But guess what? Now you got this opioid thing going on, right? It's in New Hampshire. It's hitting predominantly whites. They say it's a sickness. It's a sickness? Serious? But if you were smoking crack, you was demonized. You was demonized in movies. Go look at the movies in the 80s. You was demonized in movies. You was demonized in your neighborhoods. They used you as political agendas to pass bullshit laws. Wasn't considered a sickness. You were an evil monster. But now if you're addicted to opioids and you're white, you're sick. Are you serious? Now this is a health issue? The fuck? They got places. This is the bullshit. Because of that, they got places where you can go shoot up so-called safely. Seriously? Go back to the 80s. You think they had a fucking safe place where you can go smoke some crack? You think you was considered a sickness? They went to fucking jail like hard criminals. Users. Wasn't a part of no medical bill or no shit like that. So, like I said, if you got advice, if you got input, and you got an opinion, by all means state it. But make sure you got something to base that on factually. Because I'm not gonna tell you nothing that I can't back up. Everything I'm telling you is a fact. And you can go look it up. It's not some shit you have to go dig up. This ain't no bullshit Area 51. There's no conspiracy theory, Illuminati, none of that bullshit. This is basic shit you can go look up if you give a fuck. But what I really want you to do is look at yourself in the mirror and say, the truth. I don't care. Because that's the truth. The truth is most people don't give a damn. They don't. I can tell by look the former entertainment can tell you that people don't give a damn. Look at the shit that entertains you. Look at the music. Listen to the music. You don't give a damn until it hits you. Then it's a problem. Then something needs to be done. So the next time you want to form an opinion or idea about race and police and shit like that in this country, please look it up first. Please educate yourself on it first. And then I'll sit down and I'll have a conversation. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. We should all be able to do that. We should all be able to, what's up with LeBron James? Something happened to him? I don't know. I don't know what happened. Did something happen to LeBron James? Because I saw you put him up. I don't know. I'm not talking about basketball right now. I'm sorry about that. Anybody that came here for music or sports, because that's what I usually do here. You know, I'm sorry about that. It just, when I heard this story, it just annoyed the fuck out of me. So I had to play it for you guys, because it is no hype news. So I'm just telling y'all, I'm just cutting all the bullshit and just giving y'all what the news is, and you know, a stating opinion based off of facts. I had a young lady that come here. She said she didn't believe people get arrested off race. I said, okay, so you think so all these facts that back that shit up don't mean nothing to you? Apparently it don't. I mean, shit, I don't know. But only thing I want people to understand is you don't have to care about race. Don't. Say, fuck it, I don't care. It don't affect me. But guess what? Classism is the next step. And when you find out your ass ain't in the right class and you getting treated a certain way, don't come crying. Don't start understanding shit now. Because now you getting fucked up and you getting treated different. Because now it affects you. That's the problem. People don't care about other people. Give a damn. I'm not one of those people. So I'm letting you guys know, hey, if you into the race shit and you think cause you non-black or Hispanic, that shit is all gravy, it's not all gravy. I know you know that. Because a lot of these rich white elitists, they look at y'all just like they look at us, and sometimes worse. I understand. I knew what the Irish went through when they came here. Do you? Have you educated yourself on that? Have y'all really educated yourself on reparations? No, you haven't. And they ain't gonna educate you on that. Why? They give They give reparations to the Jews. The United States do. Yeah. If you didn't know that, they do. Why? We didn't have shit to do with the Holocaust. Indians got reparations. Japanese got reparations. The one time reparations was finna get taken to the world court for black people, it never happened. The person who was gonna take it to the world court, Malcolm X, got killed. Ain't that a bitch? All I'm asking y'all, man, is to educate yourself. You know, stop thinking because it don't affect you today that it's not going to affect you tomorrow. Because it is. You ain't finna wake up one day and be in the top 1, 2, 3% of wealth. You're not. It's not going to happen. So when they start having these different plans on depopulation and it's going to hit you and your children, you can be prepared. Like vaccinations. I'll give you guys another thing if you want to look it up. 1972, WHO, the World Health Organization, the hepatitis C vaccine. Every single place they went and put that so-called vaccine in became the main place and a hotbed for HIV. You think I'm bullshitting? Look it up. The place in Africa they went to, that shit became the AIDS belt. The place in San Francisco they went to, it became a hotbed for HIV. In New York City, it became a hotbed for HIV. What does that tell you? It ain't just about race. They looking at you just as worse as they looking at me. Calling you useless eaters. Understand what a utopian society is. Because most of you motherfuckers wouldn't fit in it. You ain't smart enough. You're not. I'm just being real. So I just invite y'all, educate yourself on that, man. Stop acting like this shit don't affect you because you're not black. Because it's racism and then it's finna be classism. People want to throw sexism ahead of that. That's another discussion that I am not equipped to have right now. Because it's a lot of shit that go with that. And like I said, I ain't going to start speaking on things until I get more and more information on it. But the information I do got on it, I can defend myself in the conversation. I just don't want to have that at this point. But I want y'all to understand, classism, if y'all not in a certain percentage of an economic class, you get looked at and treated the same way. And you better get that through your heads right now and start understanding. Understand some of the tools that they use to separate people. Understand some of the laws that they create to imprison people based off race, because then they're going to start using that shit against you based off class. That's all I'm telling you. You cannot give a fuck. You can think whatever you want to think. Hey, I'm just giving you a little advice, and I'm actually giving you facts you can go look up. So the next time you want to talk about people don't get arrested by race, you will know better. That's it. Peace, and thank everybody for coming in. Thanks for the likes. And next time I'm on, I promise we're gonna be talking about music or hoops, okay? But I just had to get that off my chest. Alright? Peace.